Whew. Okay. Ow. Nothing bit me. Okay. I'm live. I have not went live in ages. So also, I'm going to say no one's here yet. But I'm going live not to make actual video. I'm going live to talk and jump off, so hopefully someone catches this later, okay? So the reason why I'm actually going live right now is because I'm home on vacation, okay? So if you have noticed, I haven't uploaded videos because I'm home on vacation. I'm spending time with my parents, my nephews, my babies, all that, baby nephews. And I decided to do this word real fast. So not really a long live. I'm just doing a quick word because I was out here and I just felt the Lord like, do this word, boo. Hi, you guys. Hi, I'm so happy to see you guys. Hi. Sorry, I got coffee in my hands. But guys, let me tell you real quick. I'm going to drop this word on you. I pray you catch it on the replay because we're going to go. So hi, everyone that's jumping in right now. I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing and being part of the YouTube family. You know that? You know, the family? Okay. So let me just tell you, I'm at home with my parents. There's my little car. I'm in my hometown. I was driving, I got coffee. I have a meeting in a little while, but I was like, you know what? Let me go to this place I used to come to. So sorry if you hear a lot of bugs, okay? So I'm gonna show you this area I'm at. When 2 or 3 years ago, I used to come out to this place and I would cry and I would pray to God and I would shout at him and I would say, why did you give me this gift if you wasn't going to let me use it? Why would you call me? Why would you give me these big dreams if nothing was ever going to happen? I mean, I would cry to God. I would come out here. I would say, hey, parents, I'm going to go to town. Bye. See you later. Love you. And then I would run out here and I would just cry to God. I literally would sit right here on this little area with my prayer journal and my Bible, and I would cry to God. I would tell God how stuck I was, how nothing was working in my life. I'm sorry, you guys, I don't know what happened. I would come out here and I would just cry out to God. I would cry to God. I would tell him how things was not working in my life. And it didn't quite look like this. It used to be low. There was a bench over here that I would sit on, and it was all short and it was low, and it's actually a little creek down here. So I would sit down here and obviously I would talk to God. Like, you see where this little creek is? So, sorry about the bugs. So this is what I would do. I would sit down here and I would talk to God about my struggles. And I would tell him what it was. But I want to tell you, every time I came into this place, God would encourage me to get back up and go out stronger. I don't know if you've ever been there, where there was a place you had to always go to get back intimate with God so he could give you the word, give you the revelation, and give you the strength to go and do what you've been called to do. This was my place. So I would come here week after week when I lived with my parents, and I would say, God, I need strength. How am I going to keep going? How am I going to keep doing this? These are things I would say to God. So now, this is 3, 4 years later, okay? And I was getting some coffee, and I thought, you have a little time before this little meeting thing, so why don't you come out here? And it's so overgrown. It looks nothing like I remember. And as I was out here, God reminded me that when you came here, you were crying because you were stuck. You were crying because the gift you was not able to use. You were crying because you've seen all these amazing things, but your reality did not align to it. You were crying because of that. And I want to encourage every daughter of God out there, if you're sitting in a broke down house, if you got a broke down car, if you only got $5, girl, okay, I know the struggle. I would sit here with this humongous dream with $2, okay? And I'd be like, God, how are we even going to create something? How are we going to make this? I would literally do this over and over. So my encouragement to you is go back to the place where you were vulnerable, you were hungry for God, because that's what he reminded me on this place. He said, you're back at the place when you put me first. You're back at the place when it didn't matter how much money you had, didn't matter about the views, didn't matter about nothing, when you didn't have views. You're back at the place when you cried out to me, not for things, but you cried out for me. I want you to get back to the place where you're not seeking the blessing, you're just seeking God. I want you to get back to the place where you realize that all these things are going to be added unto you as long as you seek the kingdom of heaven first, as long as you seek the kingdom of God. I want you to get back to the place where you were so vulnerable and hungry for God that it didn't matter who was driving by. You was going to do what you had to do. I didn't care if my parents were calling me back then, Morgan, come on. I didn't care about no meetings. I'm like, hey, y'all, I got to go get in this little random garden place with God because me and him got some things to talk about. There are some things on my heart that if I don't get quiet enough and I don't get in the place with his secret place enough, I'm going to miss the move of God. And that's what happened, guys. I would come out here week after week because I needed to know, God, do you have enough strength inside of me to make sure that I see this thing through? So when I came out here today, I'm probably going to be running late to this little meeting, but when I came out here today, I felt myself getting emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I grabbed my camera and it died. So I was like, well, let me grab my phone and go live. Because I felt that God, as I was praying to God, he was saying, you're back at the place where it all started. You see, sometimes you align where it started to maybe even somewhere in your childhood. You align where the pain started to something that happened to you that was traumatic. God says, but I got you back in the place where you were vulnerable. So daughters of God, sons of God, if you don't go back to that place, because in that place there is blessings. In that place there is prosperity. In that place there is overgrowth. This place did not used to look like this at all. There is a place for you that God has that he says, get back to that. It might have been a hard place. It might have been just you had such a gratitude at one day. Like maybe there was a season where you were just dancing in God's joy. You were just dancing in his love. I don't know what that place is for you. But for me, this was the physical place of what God was doing spiritually inside of me. So I need you to go back to the physical place so you can get into the spiritual alignment that God has for you. There is a physical place that's going to align you spiritually with the move of God before you. Sorry, someone was calling me. But there is a place for you. A place for you, daughters of God. There is a place for you. So I'm going to leave you guys with this word because God fired me up with it, man. He just said, see, sometimes you don't realize that God is taking you back around because there was something you missed along the journey. That's not a bad thing. Because at the time when I was running around out here, all I could see was what I didn't have, right? All I could see was my lack. But I want to tell you now, I had the things I prayed for back then. I have those things, okay? I have those things. And since I have those things, I don't need to pray for the new car. I don't need to pray for another blessing. I don't need to pray for, even though I haven't reached everything I want, I don't have to pray for that. I have to pray, God, are we still tight? Am I still going to make it to heaven if I die today? Am I still going to walk with you for the rest of my life? Hey, God, I need wisdom to lead people. You see, your prayer has to change when you get into the spiritual alignment with God. It's no longer, am I going to get the new car? It's, am I going to lead people right? Am I going to step into this purpose like you called me to? That's the difference. You got to shift in your prayer. You got to shift in your mindset. And you got to shift in your location. Daughter, I'm not telling you to move to another city. What I'm telling you to do is wherever you're standing at right now, it might be on some very shaky ground. So you need to go stand back on some holy ground. And to me, this is holy ground. To me, this place seen my tears. They heard my shouts. These trees and these plants, they heard my tears. They heard what I was struggling with. They heard how I felt like a woman wasn't supposed to preach. And so I would say, God, why did you give me this gift if I'm not supposed to preach? Why did the churches around not let women preach? But God, you gave me this gift, so it burns inside of me. Why can't I preach? Because it was never meant to preach in those churches. That's why. I want you guys to be so built up. I want you guys to be so built up that you're going to go back to the location God called you to go to. The place where you were vulnerable. The place where you was before God, laid out, prostrate. It didn't matter about the weight. It didn't matter about the money. Anything, or even the blessing. All that mattered is, God, am I with you? Are you with me? Are you in this? Are you leading this? Are you carrying this? Are you walking with this? There's so much I could just pour out in this place because I already had before I went live. But I don't come back here every year. I don't even come back here every time I'm home. But when I do come back here, I know I'm led. I'm led. And this is the ground that shows me when I was once a baby in faith, trusting God. And where you can be when you never lose that trust. When you keep trusting God through every season of your life. I want to encourage you no matter how old you are. You can be in your teens. You can be in your early 20s. You can be in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. You got to trust God. If it's the vision, if it's the idea, if it's the move, if it's what do I do in this moment, trust God. There are so many areas. I'm telling my mom this morning, I'm scared for this next chapter. I don't have this team. What am I going to do? Like I was telling my mom this morning, I'm so scared, but I know I have to trust God in it. And that is the biggest encouragement I can give you guys. The reason I am standing here, being able to look at the power of revelation is because I've trusted God. That's what it is. It's not that I did some cool thing with algorithm on YouTube. I learned all about things and how to grow. No, I've trusted God. And I think that's the big one, guys. I trusted God. And that's what you have to do. You cannot let your patience outrun your passion. So your passion is going to leave some days. There's days I don't have this passion, let me be real. But I have the patience and the trust in God that I'm going to see this thing through. So you got to be willing to have the patience and the trust in God to see it through. Because the passion will run out, boo. It will. The passion will go missing for some months. You'll be on a dry spell and you'll be running on grace. So trust God. And so I'm out here, but I had to just do that message for you guys. Put my coffee down. Woo! Hair's blowing. The wind is like, so it wants to rain. But I wanted to share that. Go back to the place where you were once so vulnerable and in love with God. Go back there. Pour your heart out there. Be encouraged there. Get up from that place that you were at and come out better. Every time I left this place years ago, I came out with a new zeal. Every time I left this place, I came out with a new word. Every time I left this place, I came out with new ideas for my YouTube channel. Every time I left this place, I came out with new blog content because I sat with God in this place. I cried out, I poured out, I got in that secret place with him. And when he began to speak, I'd have my journals and I'd just be writing. And people would drive by here and I'd probably be like, what is this girl doing? And I would just be like, writing. It's so funny now, think about it. But this is the place that helped build me. And so I need you to go to the place that helped build you. The place that encourages you. The place that builds you up. So you can take that word in again. You can just relax in who God is again. Get peace again. Slow down again. And see him again. So, I'm sorry guys. This word was not very planned. I just felt it as I got out here and I did a prayer and I felt the Lord wanting me to share this, and then my camera died, so I had to pull off the live, okay? So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sweaty now. I'm probably running late for this meeting. So, I love you so much. Thank you guys for subscribing and watching my YouTube channel and everything. But I want to tell you, girl, if you got a dream, you got a vision. If I could tell that girl who was sitting here on this little thing years ago crying to God, what I would tell her is to get up. You get up in power. You get up in his love. You get up in his grace. And no matter what comes against you, if you're working a boring 9 to 5, if you're looking at the wrong relationship, if you're stuck in a toxic place, you get up from there. You get up. And you might not have the courage today to walk out of everything, but you walk out in God's power. You get up from that place and you go out in God's power. And that's every time I left this place, and I'm leaving today in God's power. See, I want to tell you, when you get to the place that he calls you to be in, when you go back and get in alignment to the place where you kind of went off a little bit, yeah, when you go back to that place, you can only receive power. You can only receive his love and his grace. So daughters of God, God is so good. This right here is going to even be a testimony. Maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, I'm going to come back and I'm going to say what more God is doing. So I want you to try God. There's something people don't do, and try him. Try God. When I was out here every day, I was reminding him what he told me. I was reminding him about the vision he gave me. God, remember you told me this? Why would you give me this? Like, I would ask God all these questions. So try God. Say, Daddy, you told me this. So I'm waiting to see it come to pass. I'm going to get in alignment. Yes. So I hope you guys all got blessed by this. I know I seen a lot of your comments coming in and I couldn't speak and read the comments, but I appreciate you guys. I rarely ever go live, but I felt the pull of the Holy Spirit on this one. So I pray that if this blessed you, you share it with one of your girlfriends. You share it with a friend so they can get blessed too. And you rewatch it until you get the revelation that God has for you. I believe God is so powerful that he can dissect the word in so many ways that there's going to be one particular thing that's going to be for you. So if you have not received it in anything, go watch it on replay again. I challenge you. I know my God, and I know he has a word for you. So I love you guys. I love you so much. I'm burning up. I'm running late. I gotta go. They're gonna be calling me. Okay, I gotta go. And I don't even know how to end this. Okay, I gotta go, guys. Love you. Bye.